Hi, this is Zach May with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 6th of May. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which is back in that range, pre-tariff breakdown range, 8,500 to 8,750. Obviously, we're looking for the best levels ever through 8,900 to be seen, perhaps by the end of next month, if we're lucky by the end of this month. But the key here, staying above 8,500 over the near term. RSI at 61, so still not overcooked, despite the near 1,000-point rally off the low, which is quite amazing. And the 50 and, the 200-day line still rising well, so that is backing the idea. Presumably, there'll be a fresh kick to the upside when that 50-day line starts rising, which could be just a day or two away. Moving on to the DAX, and here picture is of I suppose the market realizing, oh wow, we're actually back near the highs, and perhaps not much more in the know in terms of tariffs than we were when we were back down at 18,500. The view at the moment is that we may be in a ascending pattern, which is probably more along the lines of the line I'm drawing at the moment. So let's say heading towards the 24,400 level. And looking for that while we're above the top of the latest gap, 22,800. That's probably the fairest thing to say. Unlike the FTSE, we've got the 50-day line now rising, which gives the excuse for suggesting that we could head up to the 24,000 plus area. And that would also be presumably the top of a rising trend channel, which I'm drawing at the moment, from back in April last year. So let's see if after the rug pull we settle down within a channel, or the channel that we were actually in before. Let's say the floor of that channel was around the 20,000 level. Moving on to the Dow, and here, sort of still behind the FTSE and the DAX, we got the resistance there from the old price channel floor. That's around 42,000. That's near to the 200-day line. We're currently clinging to the 50-day moving average, 41,200. Ideally, we stay above the old November support line projection and the 40,000 level ahead of a move up towards that 200-day moving average. But from now on, probably won't be quite as easy as it has been to rebound from 38 or 37,000 or sub that area that we did last month. Moving on to Bitcoin, where been licking our lips, hoping this market get to 100,000 sooner rather than later, but it's decided to stall. We broke out of that bull flag mid-move consolidation. Got support there around 92,000, so hopefully while we're above that, still on the way to 100,000. But the stalling means that rather than looking for 120,000 by the end of this month, probably have to postpone it to the end of next month. Hard support there towards 90,000, whatever happens. Moving on to gold, and here the situations that even though some people were suggesting that was it for this market, this market actually bounced intraday off the floor of that rising trend channel from March. And while that's in place, we have the prospect of hitting 3,800 as soon as the end of next month. Maybe if we're really lucky by the end of this month, but presuming now with that little dip that we've had, it would be by the end of next month, if we get there at all. If you're cautious, probably want to see 3360 plus for this market. That's been recent resistance. Nice RSI rebound above neutral 50, giving this chart a better look than it has for some days. Moving along to the stocks, and starting off with AFC Energy, which has broken out of that falling trend channel. The level there around 8 pence, above that looking rather simply for 12 pence, which is the top of that broadening triangle from October. Already had gaps through the 50-day line, which add to the excitement of that situation and that turnaround. On to Asiamet, where I'm including it because we've had at least 3 bounces off RSI 50 and also bounces above the 50-day moving average. Also had a gap close buy signal at 0.95 on the 28th of April. So the initial target here, 1.17, looking for 1.4 pence. Perhaps even as soon as the end of this month. Obviously, that would retest May resistance. 50 and 200-day lines both rising, but it's that multiple bounces of RSI 50, which are the excitement, the sizzle there at Asiamet. Moving on to Atome, which I nearly didn't cover, but then realized that this is a sideways shuffle above a rising 50-day moving average, and also we've had a bounce off RSI 50 as well, so difficult to resist. Initial target here, 53 pence at the top of that broadening triangle from December. One of the recent heroes, mega heroes in this case, has been Catenai. The reason for that is that the shares were not identified after they already moved, but actually it was already suggested that 0.15 would be the floor, and 0.15 was the floor. We've now had a golden cross, and we've hit three of our targets there. Looking for a retest of 0.8, maybe by the end of this month, while we remain above the second target there of 0.44 pence. So let's see if Catenai can deliver the goods. RSI is interesting in the sense it hasn't been below neutral 50 even on that dip, the temporary dip we had below 0.4 pence. On to Deltic, and here the situation is that although it's a bit of a messy situation, we've had a gap through the rising 50-day moving average, looking for a break of the 200-day line at 6.3 pence to take us up to 9.2 pence, perhaps as soon as the end of this month, but obviously allowing for up to the end of June, which should be more than enough time. On to Hardide, which I don't look at very much, nor does anybody else, but this is a bullish situation in the sense that we've had the gap higher. We've found support at that December gap around 5.2 pence, and above that looking for 9.5, perhaps by the end of next month once the 200-day line starts rising. On to Kefi, a company which I've never liked, but some people apparently do. What I do like, though, is the way that the shares exactly hit at the top of that rising trend channel target there at 0.75. Above that, I did suggest, I think last week, that one could name one's target on the upside, which would be 0.85, 0.9, even a penny, but we need that end-of-day close through 0.75, and that's valid while we hold above today's intraday support and the 0.6 pence area. One of the big winners of the year, one of the best winners of the year, has been Metals 1. And you heard it here first because the charting was here first. What's interesting now is that we're approaching the top of that rising trend channel and a potential 33 pence target. Above that, looking for a bigger win, as high as 40 pence, maybe by the end of next month, while we're above recent support around 25 pence. But what a winner that has been. Another winner, massive winner, off the back of the recent interview that was done here at Xtract Cafe, was Mosman. Thought it was a brilliant interview, couldn't believe my ears, and here we've had the break of resistance at 0.49, and that should lead, hopefully, by the end of this month, or, well, by the end of next month or sooner, up to retesting last year's resistance at 0.08. If we're really lucky, we would get up to 0.08 by the end of this month. Stock which got a mention in the Daily Mail, which is obviously the font of all wisdom for the stock market, is the Smarter Web company. Here we're trying to guess, given that we have hardly any charting data, what the top of the channel would be. Perhaps the best one that one could say at the moment is above 10 pence, the middle of the range so far. We get up to 32 pence by the end of this month, but that is obviously flying rather blind. On to Touchstone, and here there's rather more information, and it looks as though shares gingerly trying to turn around here. Had an unfilled gap to the upside off the low, even though we had one before which failed, maybe this time with the RSI through the 50 level, and also the shares going up as I speak. We could get up to 25 pence by the end of this month, or even sooner. Ideally, we get up to the 200-day line by the end of this month. But upside value, at least while we're above the latest support there at 20 pence. Good to see that Xtract Resources is pushing on higher at the moment. First time that it's actually really got some momentum behind it with the Silver King news that it's got. Initial target here, 1.3 pence, hopefully over the next week or so. After that, looking perhaps for rather greater glories towards a penny and a half, but let's see how we go over the next few sessions. Ideally, we stay above that 50-day line, 0.81. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.